I think first and foremost, you have to lead yourself before you can lead anybody else. And I think what that really means is holding yourself to a higher standard and going above and beyond what's expected. My business coach, Melanie Ann Layer, she says, we want to do things for me, for you, and for us. So when we make decisions, we don't just want to be thinking about what's good for ourselves, because that's selfish, but we don't want to be thinking about what is good only for the other person, because that might mean it's not good for us, but what is good for the whole? What is the best answer that is good for both me and for you? And I think that is really what a true leader does.
Welcome to the Nicholas Brown Podcast, a podcast talk show about real estate investing, business leadership, and personal development. Each week, we explore current real-life case studies about how to build financial independence through investing in real estate to build your personal portfolio through passive income models, along with interviews from the top business leaders and personal development leaders. Now, here's your host, Nicholas Brown.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I got another great episode, and I'm just going to get straight to it because you're going to be excited. This is a subject that's actually needed. This is needed. So, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about three things: real estate investing, business leadership, and personal development. And this is going to be tied to all three. You'll see what I mean. But she's dedicated to this and she's experienced this. So I'm going to read the about section. But before I read the about section, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube. And also, if you're listening in, make sure you subscribe and download the iTunes, Spotify, whatever podcast platform you're tied to. So we will begin, and then we'll get straight to it, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a treat for you, I promise you. So today's guest is Christine Luken. She is a certified divorce specialist. Over the past 13 years, Christine has coached hundreds of high-earning professionals to pay off staggering amounts of debt and massively increase their net worth. She especially loves guiding women through the financial and emotional challenges of divorce, helping them to achieve lasting confidence with money. As the founder of the Financial Dignity Movement and a certified divorce specialist, she trained financial advisors, CFPs, and other money coaches on the emotional side of personal finance so they can serve their clients at a higher level. Her book, Money is Emotional, Prevent Your Heart from Hijacking Your Wallet, has landed Christine almost 100 podcasts, ladies and gentlemen, and TV interviews, establishing Christine as the authority on money and emotions. When she's not coaching clients via Zoom from her office in Cincinnati, you can find this member of the Financial Therapy Association curled up with a good book, a fluffy cat, and a strong cup of coffee. For free resources on mastering your personal finances, please feel free to visit her website. It's www.christineluken.com. I'm going to spell it, www.ChristinaLuken.com. You can also easily find her content on her LinkedIn, which I'm happy. I'm honored to be a part of her LinkedIn. That's how I find her. I advise you guys to sign up with LinkedIn. It's free, and you get powerful authority figures such as this. But here's a hashtag: financial dignity. Hashtag financial dignity. Welcome to the show, Christine.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you, ladies and gentlemen. As I said before, LinkedIn is powerful. You get powerful people such as this person here. And that's where it comes, the law of magnetism, law of attraction. We read each other content and everything. Things just click. So I'm excited to have you. And ladies and gentlemen, before I start, make sure you reach out listen to this, make sure you grab a book. She has a book coming. I'm excited to talk about that in time, Christine, but I want to get you
Yes.
set like everyone else. We talk about three things, which, ladies and gentlemen, before we met here, we kind of fell into the conversation, but we talked about motivation, teaching, and perspective. So, Christine, you're an ongoing leader, which you are a leader. People don't believe that. So we're gonna try to make this short, because I say once again, we get passionate men here, because we just had a brief 5 minutes, it turned to 15 minutes for us to just just talk about life and what's going on. So
Yes.
Christine, I appreciate this, but what motivated you to write the book? And we'll have you on another
Oh,
episode. I hope.
gosh.
Yeah. We'll just
Yeah,
get
absolutely. So, yeah, I just published my third book, Financial
Wow, really?
Dignity After Divorce,
Wow. Okay.
A Woman's
Okay.
Guide to Healing Her Relationship with Money. And I think what's motivated me to write all three of my books is, I've seen people struggle with their personal finances. These are smart people. These are people who have good jobs, who, honestly, like on the surface, we should say, oh, well, these people shouldn't struggle with money. They've got a good job. Like, hey, they got A's and B's in math. Like,
Sure.
Why is this not working for them? Like, this should be something that, that they should know how to do this.
Right.
And, part of my motivation is I hit financial rock bottom at age 26, despite having an accounting degree.
Wow.
And it's because money is emotional.
Okay.
And that's like really my driving passion, is to get people to understand that money is not just about math. Okay. There are people who are excellent at math and terrible with money.
Sure. Right.
The math is just one piece of it. And for me, there was a lot of shame and embarrassment about getting into the mess that I got into with my finances, because I was working as an accountant.
Whoa, really?
I got all straight A's in math. Yeah,
Wow.
I was the person that should have known better, but it was because of emotional and relational issues that got me into the mess that I was in. So the very short story is I was in an unhealthy relationship.
Okay.
And, there was emotional manipulation, there was codependency, there was a lot of unhealthy things going on there. And a lot of it surfaced in the arena of money. Now, there were other issues. It wasn't just in the money, but, money becomes entangled with a lot of other issues in our lives, with our relational issues, with our emotional issues. And we need to have an understanding of that part of money if we're going to be able to succeed long-term with it.
Okay. That's deep. So it is. It's another question, but here's the thing. So how long did you decide to take that position? Because your actual niche, you want to help women, correct? Because most women, especially if it's a one-person income, compared, they rely on the husband or the spouse, correct? What got you into that field? What like, I got to do this. I got to show people how and be.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just to be clear, I'm not exclusively working with women. I do also work with couples, but at least half of my coaching practice is single and divorcing women.
Gotcha.
And what I've realized is that divorce is a huge emotional storm. There's, even if the woman is initiating it, it's still, there's a lot of emotional things going on. There was, for me, when I broke up, with my ex, even though I was the one that was choosing to leave, there was still a lot of emotional upheaval. And there's also financial upheaval on top of that. I was just reading a stat this morning from money.com regarding women and the lost amount of growth that women are missing out on because of the difference in the pay gap, like if that money had been invested over time. And so many times women are taking a pause or a break or a downsize on their career while they are raising children. And, that puts them at a disadvantage financially when they go through divorce. Now, let's be clear. Nobody wins financially in a divorce, right? That part is just plain math. You're dividing all the assets, and then, you're adding in expenses because now you're two different households. So it's not easy on anyone, but it is disproportionately harder on women. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, but, if you look at the hard numbers, women are usually in a lower standard of living when they get divorced.
Right.
And if they've been in a relationship where they have abdicated the responsibility of the money to their husband, they may not even really understand what's going on in the finances when the divorce hits. And that can be very scary. They don't have the knowledge that they need because they haven't really been plugged into it. They might not really feel confident about handling money on their own.
Right.
And just the whole, process of divorce, things are in flux. While you're going through it, you don't know what is the end result. How much am I going to get in a settlement? Am I going to get child support? What does that look like? And that can cause women to feel very overwhelmed. It can cause them to feel paralyzed, that, it's almost like they can shut down, where they can be completely stressed out about it. So I really
because you wasn't expecting it, because they would at that time, you're not expecting that. You're expecting to have a marriage for life at the same time.
Nobody
you
goes
prepared at that time to go to this next stage of life, to get back on your feet. Am I correct? So
absolutely,
it's a shock. It's emotional beside the money,
Yes,
but you got to adjust to a new way of life now.
Yeah. And, it can feel very scary handling life and handling money on your own. And that's, that was really why I wrote the book, because obviously I can't work one-on-one with every single woman, in the world, or even in my city, that's going through a divorce, as much as I would love to. And I wanted to be able to have, a step-by-step guide that can show both the emotional and the financial pitfalls that can happen, to guide them around those, and to lay out a path so that women can feel confident and they can feel peaceful about their money, rather than that being a source of stress.
Okay, so beside the book, do you have a community or advice? Tell us something like that.
I do have. Yeah, absolutely. As I post a ton of stuff on LinkedIn. I share a lot of great resources there.
Ladies and gentlemen, watching, she shares value. I promise you. Go to the LinkedIn. I haven't had a chance to go. Are you on Facebook? Do you post some on Facebook also?
I do post. Okay. I do post on Facebook.
Okay.
I also post a lot of funny memes on Facebook. Okay. So if you like to laugh, you can come look up my personal profile. Right. But I do also have a Facebook community called the Financial Dignity Club, where that's a safe place for people to ask questions. I share a lot of resources in that group as well. Okay.
So here's the next question. Can you give us some tips, whether it's women or men, husband or wife that's going through a divorce? Do you have any advice or any frequently asked question that people ask that you can get them set on?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple things. So let's talk about like the practical thing first. We'll talk about the practical thing and the emotional thing. So the practical piece of it is to really get a handle on what's going on in your finances. Start gathering up the documents, start gathering up your bank statements, your investment statements, credit card statements, all of those things, so you can put together a picture of what has been going on with your finances,
Right.
because having that information is going to give you clarity. And typically it's something that you're going to have to gather for your divorce attorney anyways,
Right.
because when they're starting to, divide up the assets and the debts, they want that information. So, I will tell women, if you're even thinking about divorce, start gathering that stuff up even before you drop the D word. Get as much information as you can, tax returns, etc. Because being armed with that knowledge, that reduces the uncertainty, because uncertainty is what causes the anxiety. Now, the other piece of it is the emotional piece of it. And most of us have not been taught how to properly manage and process our emotions.
Okay.
Typically what happens is people either stuff their emotions, and that's like a game of whack-a-mole. Do you remember that game?
No. But what you
like,
mean by stuff emotions? I gotta ask you that. What you mean
when you
stuff
stuff your emotions, it's
example?
like you don't, when you feel something come up, you're just like, nope, I'm not going to feel that, right?
Okay.
You try to deny it and you repress it. But what happens is that when you do that, those emotions will pop out eventually.
Right.
And it may not be in a good situation, or, it might be an innocent bystander, another person in your life who really wasn't even the cause of that upset, where it's like someone says something and it triggers you almost like a Jack in the Box, and here comes this ugly emotion.
Right.
So we haven't been taught how to, when we start to feel something uncomfortable, to say, what am I feeling right now? And, what is the source of this? And just kind of really even thinking about how we're feeling.
Okay.
And when we do have these emotions, it's normal to feel angry. It's normal to feel upset. And we need to take the time to process it. So for some people, for me, when I was going through my breakup, journaling was very therapeutic for me. Now, I'm a writer and I love to write. So that was perfect for me. I could write out all my feelings, and that helped me to process a lot. The other thing that really helped was physically getting the anger out. So at the time for me, it was exercising, but it could be kickboxing. It could be going to a yoga class, whatever, whatever you need to do to give a physical outlet to that anger, to that emotion.
Sure.
Sometimes we're just sad and we just need to almost like comfort our inner child. When you think about, if you've ever had a toddler, or, you've had nieces or nephews who are toddlers.
A daughter.
Yeah. Okay. So, when your 3-year-old is cranky, what do? You give her a snack, you give her a bath, and you give her a nap, right? Sometimes that's all we need, right? We just, we need a little snack. We need a nice warm bath, and then we need to go to bed. We need to just roll up in that little blanket and, put ourselves to bed, and just be kind to ourselves, rather than trying to stuff those emotions or to feel bad about them. I mean, sometimes it's like we make it worse. It's like we're sad or we're angry, and then we're like down on ourselves for feeling that way, and that's not helpful.
Right. Well, this is what I want to do, because I feel like we're going to get off on time, because we got some questions to go. I need you for another episode by the end of this year on the personal development. But this is a question based on your experience. And so when someone gets a divorce, and since you have a community, do you get the question, is it okay to have 2 accounts or 1 account? So one for the husband, one for the wife. Do you get those types of questions?
Absolutely.
And what's your suggestion? What is it 50-50, or what do you suggest? So
so here's my answer.
Okay.
Separate accounts are okay.
Okay.
Secret accounts are not okay.
Okay. Secret accounts. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to have when you're married.
Okay.
We do not want to keep secrets about money. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes it is helpful to separate some money so each person feels like they have complete control over a piece of the finances.
Sure.
So for example, my husband and I, we have a joint account that all the bills get paid out of.
Okay.
But we each have a separate account for our fun money.
Okay.
So he's not going to criticize me if I go and spend $40 on my pretty nails. And
Right.
I'm not going to, complain to him for, spending $40 or $50 on Amazon.
Yeah, steak or something.
Yeah, on his electronics or whatever he wants to buy.
Right.
And I think that can be helpful as long as we've agreed on the amounts that, okay, this much needs to go in to pay all the bills. This is what our extra is. We've agreed on the amounts. We don't necessarily have to agree on the nitpicky details of how it's spent.
Okay.
That allows each person to feel like they are in control, that they're not being judged or criticized. And, that's perfectly fine. Now, some people, they want to keep everything all together, and that's okay too. But I think what's really important is when you're in a committed relationship that you're having regular conversations about money together.
Okay.
Even if one person is handling the majority of the day-to-day things, they need to pull the other person in and be having regular conversations about what's going on in the finances. So you're probably not surprised to hear that I handle the majority of the finances.
Right.
Sometimes that's great, but now I just finished with the taxes and I'm like, I wish I didn't have to do this. But my husband and I every week, sometimes more than once a week, are having conversations about what's going on with the money, what our goals are, those kinds of things. So because God forbid, if something should happen to me, I want him to be able to step in with confidence and know what's going on in our finances.
Okay. One more question. I got two more questions, main questions. So basically, your book and your service, do you help guide them, or you just give them? Do you have resources and all, so people are part of your community? Do you have like resources or courses online about how to rebuild your credit and your income? Because credit is part of it also. You got to damage credit. I used to do credit, so I know the clients and everything. Being a mortgage broker, I did divorces and all that, so I'm familiar with that. But credit helps. Do you provide that, or do they have those questions and everything, or do you have resources?
Yeah, absolutely. I have it's actually a membership called Financial Dignity on Demand.
Gotcha.
So if they go to my website, there's up at the top, it says courses. So there's several different courses. There's one on getting your finances organized. There's one on magnetic money mindset, which is all about the emotional side of money and improving your relationship with money. But the membership is really, it's all the content that I do with my one-on-one clients without the personalization. Gotcha. Some people will jump into the membership and they'll go through the content in 2 or 3 months and then say, all right, I've gotten what I need and now I'm jumping out. There are other people who will stay in there for a much longer period of time because they want the ongoing encouragement. They want the ongoing support. We do monthly masterminds on where we go deeper into different topics like taxes and investing. We did one all about, affording college for your kids. So, it's very accessible. It's definitely a lot cheaper than my one-on-one coaching.
I imagine. Yeah, but it's valuable. It's valuable content.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Here's what I want to do. If I didn't say it, I want to say it now. You have 3 books. Can you tell us briefly about what you got coming? Your book is about to launch. What's the title of your book?
Yeah, so the newest book, it's actually out now. It's Financial Dignity After Divorce, A Woman's Guide to Healing Her Relationship with Money. You can find all my books on Amazon. So you can either search my name, or if you search Financial Dignity After Divorce, it'll come right up. My first book is Money is Emotional, Prevent Your Heart from Hijacking Your Wallet. That's the basis, that's really all about the major areas of personal finance, along with the emotional piece. So we talk about saving, investing, debt reduction, managing your spending, money in relationships. And it talks about how to harness the power of your emotions instead of fighting against them.
Wow.
And then my second book is for entrepreneurs. It's called Manage Money Like a Boss.
Really? Okay. That's
Yeah.
going to lead to the next question when you finish. That's going to lead to like a boss. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the question. Ladies and gentlemen, how we met is because we got deep into the conversation. I had a CPA, Steven, on there, and then I had another person, CFA, I forgot, but she joined in. We joined in on LinkedIn and everything. So that question is I have teaser videos of 1 minute about the word leadership. So Christine, I would like to ask you, I'm just going to put you on the spot. What's your definition? What's your definition of leadership? Because you're leading women and men now. So what is it to you? What do you feel like leadership is to you? Just the definition.
I think first and foremost, you have to lead yourself before you can lead anybody else. And I think what that really means is holding yourself to a higher standard and going above and beyond what's expected.
That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
There's something that my coach,
that's deep.
My business coach, Melanie Ann Layer, she says, we
up.
want to do things for me, for you, and for us. So when we make decisions, we don't just want to be thinking about what's good for ourselves, because that's selfish, but we don't want to be thinking about what is good only for the other person, because that might mean it's not good for us, but what is good for the whole? You know, what is the best answer that is good for both me and for you? And I think that is really what a true leader does, is when they make decisions, yes, they're thinking about what is good for them because they don't want to be burnt out. They want to have good boundaries, but how can they honor themselves and honor the other person or the other people that they're leading as a whole?
That's deep. So they can move forward. It's all about forward thinking, I think. I
Yes.
see us leading, but we can work together. That's good. That's awesome. Great answer. Great answer, as we say before. Great answer. So what's your perspective on divorce? Since how many years? 13 years. And this is the last question, then we're done. I got to ask you, what's your perspective? Has things changed for us, divorce and money? What's your perspective on it? Is it going to get better in time, or what do you think?
I don't know. I think it's always going to be, you know, I would like to think that things are getting better, but I'm not so sure that they are.
As far as getting out, you know what I mean? Overcoming, because divorce, you can't, it's not going to be 100% people going to stay married, but have the ways to get over that as far as financially and everything and change a new life. Has you saw change in that?
I certainly think there's a lot more resources out there, especially for women. And especially in the area of entrepreneurship. I'm seeing a lot of my divorcing women clients who are taking ownership of their financial future by engaging in entrepreneurship, you know, usually part-time to start, but you know, I'm seeing really great success with women who see entrepreneurship as a way to be empowered financially over their lives, which I think is awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. But Christine, I'm excited for your book, and I appreciate you coming on. By the end of this year, I stress for you to come back on.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Another episode. So thanks for coming on the show. Okay.
Thanks so much.
All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As I always end, don't condemn, don't complain, because you have a choice to make a change. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us on the Nicholas Brown Podcast. Make sure to visit our website, www.nickbrowninc.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like this show and you are a new real estate investor, then check out one of Nicholas's free reports called the Wholesale Dominator Report, also located on our website, www.nickbrowninc.com/free reports. Be sure to tune in for our next episode. And remember, don't condemn, don't complain, because you have a choice to make a change. Have a great day.